allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Any additions or deletions?
I have executive session for personnel. We have executive session on there, but it will be for personnel with no vote.
Okay. Anybody else have any? Alrighty. Carolyn, the floor is yours.
Okay. I am here because of the Richford Center Cemetery. Number one, your current mower surely isn't Donald Noyes. It isn't a complaint, it's just there's no comparison. Donald and Judy did such a fabulous job that they're going to be hard to beat. The reason I'm here,
Well, well, before you get to that, what are the overall, do you have some general concerns? Like, is it not being done frequently enough? I mean, this is individual's first year, so we are more than happy to share some.
number one, they let the grass get too long before they mowed.
Okay.
So it looks messy.
Okay.
And of course, with all this rain, you can mow every 3 days.
Yeah.
So can't really put a complaint down for that. It's not their fault.
Right. Alrighty. Sorry, like I said, this is their first year, so
Yeah.
any feedback would be beneficial.
Yeah. Okay. I have learned, I hope it's not true. Do you know if the records are being updated when there's a burial or a lot sold here at the town hall? I was here when Kim was very sick, and I understood at that time she hadn't done any updating of the records for some time. And however long she's been gone, has anything been done?
This was a topic, last fall?
Yeah.
And I thought we had delegated it to, was it Lisa? I mean, there was
talk about it, but I don't know if any final decision was made on that. I do know I had to go into the cemetery maps to look up a previous record because somebody wanted to transfer one of their plots to somebody else. So I went in Eric's office and looked at the maps, and I don't believe anything new that has come in since Kim passing. I don't think that it has been added to the map per se.
Yeah.
So I think we need to find
and
somebody to update that, because he's in the office by himself trying to keep up with his lister.
And I guess, let me ask this, whose purview does that normally fall under? Is that a lister function? Is that a clerk function?
I think Kim just kind of did it in her free time. She did the mapping, and she would, when Carol would come in with a slip for a new deed, she would update the map. And I just don't think that we've had anybody to take that on yet.
These are two different papers, okay? When there's a lot or half a lot sold, they get a copy here.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a burial, there's this, and it always says cremation or full burial or whatever. But the most important is the lot numbers, where they're buried.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Riel started doing up there, each lot is numbered A, B, C, D.
Yes.
And Kim, when she made new maps, on the map it says A, B, C, D. And it's much easier to look a piece of paper than have to go up there with a rod
Well, yeah.
and to see if the space is empty
Mm-hmm.
or an old grave, if
Yeah.
it's just caved in and
Mm-hmm.
the, you know, and it's really important that it's kept up.
Yeah.
Well, and then you guys have just recently expanded, has that been mapped?
I think I think the new section, if I remember correctly when I was looking at it, I think it has been mapped. I just don't know if,
Alright, so what, how
Well,
does,
there always used to be two sets of records. What Kim and Eric did in the Lister's office was part of the cemetery mapping. But the clerk's office always used to keep a record of
You
the
see,
lots when people were buried and when they were sold.
yeah, the
there's
deed of burial,
two
the,
sets of
would
be
maps.
those-
This
Okay,
here,
that's
the
one of-
book.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
there was always
this
two
is
sets of
kind
records.
Sets of records,
So it's not, we wouldn't
map
have to rely
that
just on
It
Eric.
should be kept up.
Okay.
okay,
Because I know when we used to get, when we would sell a lot, the book would be updated. When we got a burial permit for up there, it would be updated with where that burial was.
Yeah.
And So
so,
we had duplicate records.
Okay.
so do we want to still have it
Is-
duplicate, or do
is
we
this
want to
some-
just transfer?
I guess my question would be, is this something Lisa's doing or somebody's doing?
Nobody in, between the three of us girls in the office, we are not updating the mapping.
Now,
But you're doing
But I can't,
the recording.
we do the recording of the, like
right,
when you bring us in, or, I think,
yeah, well, it's
when
Jeff
someone
Lawyer.
buys,
He has to bring it in once he's
once he buries them.
buried, yeah.
But before that, when they buy the plot, or they buy the
Yeah.
lot, I should say, sorry, we create the deed, and that gets recorded, so we know who bought the,
Right. So your half is still getting done.
yeah.
It's just the mapping
But-
part of it's not being done at this point.
Yeah, the mapping, when someone gets buried, I don't believe that their name is being put on the map. That they've actually been buried in that spot,
Yeah,
like,
But so it wouldn't be a big add-on if you're already doing the other two pieces, the other half of this. Would it be that big a deal to just jot, I mean, is it more than just jotting in the
that I don't know.
necessary information
You'd-
into the
I'd
map?
You'd have to look into it, cause I know when I looked at it with Eric, it was the map, and then there's an index where you would write who was buried in what spot, plus put it on the actual map part. I mean, I don't think it's
well,
And it's not like we do it every day.
it's not hard. I wouldn't say that it's hard, it's just gonna be time consuming if there's a lot to put on there at first.
Yeah.
Right.
To catch it back up would be,
Yeah,
would
and then
take some
after
time.
that, maybe
And then
a
after
half
that, I
hour a
mean, you
week,
could get a-
maybe, if that.
yeah,
and that's only when someone's
Yeah.
buried that you have to update those.
yeah, buried or.
Or
um,
buys.
If there's a new lot, it has to be recorded too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys wanna see this going forward?
I think
mean-
it's something they should be able to do, because they're already recording everything in the main office. Just to take, once they're caught up, that half hour, maybe a week or a month, depending on how much business, can easily be recorded into the mapping.
Depending on what we do with the Lister's office though, I mean,
Yeah.
something that's gonna need to be brought back out of the Lister's office.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think we were
Maybe it
talking
needs
about
Yeah, and I think
anyway.
it's in the
Needs to-
listers.
Yeah.
Time to be,
I
maybe
think
we
it's
should,
probably, just move forward with it, be done with it.
Yeah.
Move it all to the
Yeah,
clerk?
I agree.
yeah,
It's part of records keeping anyway, so.
yeah.
Can you-
How this came to my attention, I shouldn't be naming names, but I'm going to. Eric, I hope he was going to be here tonight, but he isn't. He was the one that told me that it hasn't been updated.
Yeah, it needs to go back to the.
Yeah, and when I was in there too, he did say that it hadn't been updated, and he had the stack of papers
Yeah.
that would come in if someone bought the lot.
Okay.
Okay.
See,
So-
I always, when Kim had her office, she got one of these papers. I always made sure she got it
Yep.
so she could update
Yep.
and,
So Eric told you too?
Yeah, and
So
I
this
only
is-
knew, he only told me because I had to go in and look up this other deed and
Well,
see
isn't
what
something that he
lot
should
she
have
was,
kind
or
of told
what
us
section.
about? Well, we knew
she
about
was
it last
actually-
fall.
The lady
It was
was
supposed to
Well-
be taken care of last fall, we had talked about it, we just apparently didn't finalize it.
Yeah.
So we need to finalize it.
So can
Well,
you
and
work,
everything was still kind of up in the air too, we didn't know what was gonna happen.
can you work with
Right.
Kylie to, and help Lisa transition into,
Yes.
Yeah.
I know this is gonna be challenging, given the summer coming up, but, I mean, I don't think it's a huge, I mean, once you get caught up, it won't be much.
Well, what Eric told me, he had spoken to Lisa and asked if she was doing it, and she said,
Well, okay,
no.
No, I just
So-
hadn't been
But
brought
she
that forward
said-
yet.
She said, told him that she isn't busy all the time.
well, so, let's,
Yeah.
can you follow up with us on the next meeting? Just tell us, you know, if it's
Yes.
been moved forward. Alrighty, anything else, Caroline?
No, that's it. I just, with all the work we've done, trying to get things straight up there, we hate to have to go
Yeah.
backwards again.
No, absolutely not.
And Riel's very close to being done as sexton up there, and if someone else takes over the job.
You want
it
them
isn't
starting on
up-
good footing?
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
No, that's understandable.
okay,
Alrighty, well, thank you for coming.
yep, thank you for listening.
Alright. Approval of the May 27th, May
May
7th meeting minutes. Have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
By the way, we like how that's posted so we can read the minutes of your meetings.
We're going, online you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. Have a second?
I'll second it.
Alright,
And she really wasn't here.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty. Marissa?
Okay, so I have a few things. I have a new connection for a water and sewer application for Mark St. Peter at, lot 6 on, I'm not sure why it says Johnsrow Road. I thought it was on. So it says 6 Johnsrow Drive, which is out.
Past the John Road, yeah, it's past my,
So it's, I think the address might be incorrect, and I don't know if they're trying to I'm not really sure, I think it's out back of, Dewey
What?
Street Extension out there.
Yes.
He's trying to subdivide
okay.
some more property out back there, so I think that they were confused on their allocation.
Depending where that goes out there though, that's private.
So, I have allocation letters from Jeremy. He went out and took a look at it and said that there's adequate capacity to allow and accommodate the proposed business and potential growth in the future. So they wanna connect, I guess I'm confused, cause it does say residential, single family, which it is.
We gotta get the address corrected first.
We gotta get the address corrected, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that the trailer behind?
So where Amos LaFontaine is, where he used to be, his house, I think it
That's
burned out
over
there.
on, that's on
Is that on the backside of North Ave?
Dunlavy,
Oh,
Dunlap.
Okay.
yeah.
And I only say that because I saw there's a map, a survey map, where they're subdividing some properties that's into the DRB, or it's supposed to go to the DRB. John has it.
Is,
Is this something you can speak to?
As I understand, yes, they're doing, where the trailer is behind Gray Gables,
Okay.
taking that, and making a lot there, and then next to where the trailer burned, that's, I believe, is lot 6 that they're
Is lot,
calling.
yes.
That is a private road
Mm-hmm.
that's through there, and I guess I wanna just, on the thing, just for my information, not that I'm putting it out there as a possibility for them, but what if they said they wanted to make that a public road with the town? What hoops do you have to run through to get the town to say okay, or what would be the decision on that? I'm just curious.
well, I'm curious about the whole thing, cause I know those fire hydrants on that road do not work. They're put in there by Mark, and as far as I'm aware of, that the lines were up to par to handle that, so
Okay.
I'm questioning that.
Cause so I have 2 letters here from Jeremy that they went out and looked at it, saying that there was adequate supply and service to allow and accommodate.
Are the lines up to code? That's what I wanna know.
Yeah.
Well, you can touch base with Jeremy on that. To answer your question, I'm just speaking from, I think the town would have to agree to take over the road first, right? But then it has to be brought up to a
Has to be
certain,
deeded to the town.
yeah, yeah, and then you have to bring it up to and the person has to bring it up to a certain code. But I mean, I think we would have to be willing to make it a road, right?
Mountain View Road, when I gave that land to the town for that road, we had to deed it over, and the town did a lot of work. The road had to be widened to meet whatever standards it has to meet, and I think that was pretty much it. It just needed to be widened, and
But like if, in that case, like if that's a residential development and they want us to take over whatever, the road, we could say, before we take it over, you have to bring it to, you have to, whoever's wants us to take it over.
that's a pretty, not much of a road right now. I don't know what it would cost, but yeah, I think.
I don't think we shouldn't have to absorb the expansion of the road. Okay, I mean, that's my general understanding of it.
I would like to find out about the water supply though, knowing that the hydrants don't work on that road.
I agree, because it sounds like all Jeremy's addressing is the fact that our system's got the capacity. He says nothing about the lines out there, and those are all private right now.
I think there's 3 hydrants out on that road that don't work that the town did not put in. It's something that Mark had put in.
Yeah, cause he wants to connect to both the water and the sewer.
I'm just wondering, and I don't know,
For
this may be
residential.
bigger, part of a bigger discussion. As part of this, do we want to require that they not be private anymore? We make it a regular residential hookup, that if there's any upgrading of hydrants and lines, that before we'll approve this, they have to
Yeah.
bring those lines up to state standards, put in hydrants that work, and then make it just so it's a residential sewer and water connection and not a private one.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something we wanna,
No.
as a board, discuss.
Yeah.
Right.
How many privates do we have, like, currently? Like, and what's the distinction between private and,
Well, like on this, we supply the water only on the
Okay.
private. We don't maintain the lines, they're not our lines. If they break, we're not legally required to fix them. The problem is, when they break, is most people don't have the knowledge or the capacity to fix them. So we end up doing the work and then trying to get reimbursed for it.
and then the sewer is just, they have septics?
Yeah, I think they got septic out there. Oh, yeah, I think it is septic out
Okay.
there. I think.
I don't know. I will say I do not know that. I'd be interested to find out though, because if it is, they have to go through the state to get permitting, right?
Yeah,
The septic out
So,
there?
yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
it's
you know,
the
the
town
private,
engineering, yeah. It's a town septic. I lived in one of those trailers, the one that burned down. It's town septic and town water. Mark
Town
used to
sewer,
give me
down
a
sewer.
bill.
So he must
every-
have connected onto our
Yeah,
sewer system.
He sure did.
I don't remember.
We gotta find out.
Yeah, but I don't know if that, I mean, these private water lines, they sound good in theory, that we're not responsible for the lines, but
Yeah.
we end up,
Well, it's just like we went to fight a fire that there was a hydrant there that didn't work that we didn't know about.
There's controversy with all of that. I know when I moved in there, it was a new trailer, because the Papanos lived next door to me, and like, there was a lot of controversy about the water and sewage, like that Mark kind of did it and then asked like for forgiveness after, but that he definitely hooked up to our water and sewer, like the town water and sewer.
do you think we should maybe get a hold of Mark? See if he would come in and talk to us about,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, not just talk to us and
Just
see
talk.
what he would, you know, about both doing the road and the water lines
Yep.
over to the town, and see what he would be willing to do.
Okay.
Yep, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so we'll hold off on this then.
Do you have anything else?
No conversation. Yes, I do. So I received a letter last week from a resident on Eastern Avenue. She lives on the southeast corner of Eastern Ave and Corliss Heights. I think it's right at the bottom of Corliss Heights Hill.
Right next
There's
to
a-
right next to the park and ride.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the, like the opposite side. But there's a blockage in one of the storm drains, and it's causing flooding and standing water, which poses a safety and environmental risk and has caused property damage to my property. She said she's attempted to contact the town clerk about the issue 3 separate times, and she gave dates, and it's been unresolved. But I'm pretty sure we clean out the drains every year. Those storm drains get cleaned out with all the debris, so I don't know if right there it just collects more.
Where was this again?
Eastern Ave and Corliss Heights, so it's at the bottom of Corliss Heights.
So it's coming down off the hill.
So if you go up Corliss Heights, it's that house right there on the left.
Wonder if it's just overwhelming the storm drain,
Yeah.
if it needs to be bigger or something.
Eastern Ave. Have you talked to Jason?
I haven't, no. She just wanted to know if we could provide a timeline for clearing the drain. If needed, she's happy to assist with local cleanup efforts.
I don't wanna speak for Jason, but I thought they got,
They got Dylan.
they got a big like
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner and they suck out all the
Yeah,
stuff.
they
clean
do it
those
all
lines.
every fall. Is
Yeah.
it fall? When all, like
It
after
waits
all
till after the leaves are gone,
all the
yeah.
leaves are gone and they clear
Yeah.
them out, so. And it says she contacted back in November, August, and May of 2024. So on 3 kind of broad dates.
I'll ask Jason if he has any awareness of it. So. Okay.
So there's that. And then I have a letter of intent to participate in the state fiscal year 26 for the grants and aid program that I just need Wally to sign. We participate in that every year.
Yeah.
It helps get sections of our road up to standards.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness.
I believe that's all I have. I might think of something later in a different topic.
And, okay.
And I just have personnel for at the end.
Okay. Highway report. We didn't talk today, but any updates on that paving grant? No, nothing since
For
last.
North Branch Road?
Yeah.
All I've gotten is an email stating that we've been suggested for approval,
Okay.
which the last time we got an email like that was for the structures grant on Province Street, and I received a grant agreement shortly after, so I'm assuming that we're gonna keep
We're in
our
good
fingers
shape.
crossed that we're in good
Okay.
shape for paving North Branch Road with the paving grant this year.
The highway, been pretty good, quiet. They did their spring cleanup. I see they've replaced a few culverts here and there. They have some, just general spring maintenance that, they're gonna do some road, start hauling gravel now that it's dry. Well, I say drying out, I mean, it hasn't really felt like it. So yeah, just normal stuff. I'm sure they'll start their sidewalks in the near future.
Jason was in here today, he did say he was gonna try to get he's gonna go out and take a look at sidewalks and try to come up with a potential list of where it needs to be redone.
Mhm.
While we're on that, the bottom says stairs at the post office. Apparently big chunks are falling apart, and that is cement. Didn't know if it'd be something they could look into.
I don't know that they have that skill set. That's
Okay.
that's the tricky piece. Like you have that's a whole different form setup. I
Okay.
think 'cause
So I think they've done work on that before in the past.
I'm wondering if for now, if until you can get it fixed, if we can just put a caution tape up and close that side
I'll
of the
ask him,
stairs.
I'll ask him, but
Okay.
Just as a safety
it-
hazard.
Yeah,
And put like a cone there, cause if someone does trip up them stairs,
Right.
it's,
post office
because
stairs,
the bottom set
hurt.
of stairs are actually,
the ones closest to the street,
yes.
yeah, I just
To the
like,
road, those
you
are all
can't really
cement.
patch that.
No,
You know what I
the
mean?
cement,
So-
you gotta tear them out and put a new in.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I think that's a whole difference,
I think it's,
form setup and,
you gotta make sure, you know, the standards are there too.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's something we can start looking at, to see if we can find somebody who does that.
yeah.
Um,
Update on the speed bumps for North Avenue. I have one.
oh, you do, okay. I know, I asked him to do it.
Yes,
Okay.
so he was in here today and we ordered speed bumps. We had
Oh,
to
we-
order more because the length for Green Avenue is not wide enough for North Avenue. And I needed to clarify, so those are ordered, we got the right lengths ordered today and signs. My question is,
So we could,
from Jason, is where exactly would we want them placed
good question.
on North Avenue? What's gonna be the most
How many?
effective? So I ordered 3, which will cover the whole length of
But
the,
it's only gonna be one, we're only doing one,
I think 1 section for now. Unless you want more, we can order, I will say it was, for speed bumps, for the 3, it was, with the signs is $800.
I would say order a second set.
And you wanna
And,
put 2,
yeah, and then since we can't use the Green Avenue ones there, let's have him put the Green Avenue back up too then.
put the Green Avenue back up, okay.
And just have him, either use his best judgment or ask him to speak to a couple property owners there, like where they feel it would be best placed.
Okay.
I'm just curious, was this in response to a complaint or something?
Yes.
Actually, I think it was before you, was it?
Yeah, Jason has fielded those complaints, so he asked me
Cause we,
if we could just move this, because if we could move the speed bumps around to, because he's fielding complaints from other areas of town. And I said, well, okay, so we'll start, we'll move it there for a while, but now it looks like we're gonna have the capacity to do it in multiple spots, so.
yeah, it was, he said he's gotten a few complaints from people on North Avenue about how fast the traffic is. They race up and down the street, so he, like Wally said, asked him, and then we talked about it at the meeting, the last meeting.
Alright, the only other thing is, I'll bring up the town spill again. It's painfully slow. Like, I talked to the guy over in Orleans, he's interested. He's touched base with the state, the James Donaldson at the state is still trying to get the test results from that previous company. The state is being very understanding, and they're doing their part to try to get those test results. It's just, I don't know, like, everything's moving at snail pace. But I just keep touching base every couple weeks and trying to move it along, but I just wish I had better, we had a final solution or a final game plan, but I just keep moving along. Kylie did, at the state's suggestion for a second time, did file a claim against our insurance for that, because that's a requisite in order to access the state money. We have to be denied a claim, or they'll approve up to a certain amount, and then the state will cover from anything beyond what the insurance covers. So that was done. But again, just waiting to get the test results. The guy over in Orleans is more than willing to work with us to get the project moving. He'll be more of like a facilitator. He'll get in touch with the people that do it. But again, just waiting for the test results so he can game plan, and he's been in contact several times with James Donaldson from the state, and they're just trying to make it move forward. But unfortunately, nothing concrete yet. That's all I have. I thought you might mention it. Cleanup day, Saturday,
Oh, yep.
coming up, right?
The 24th this Saturday
yeah.
from 8 to noon.
Yeah.
The town garage.
And I guess I should touch base with Jason, make sure we have
We
somebody.
do.
He
Tracy will be there
for the
to run the
pit.
loader.
Okay, good.
Yep.
And I've got the dump cart.
Yep, and John called today. I was gonna call him Wednesday to remind him, but he ended up calling us today to get dumpsters down there for this week.
Good. So that's all set. And do you have any?
That's all set.
You have
I
any randoms
have-
yet?
I have-
What direct pickups? I
I
mean.
think 3 or 4
Okay.
that
So
have called.
I'll touch base with you on Friday and get the addresses, and I'll
Yep.
hit those before I show up on.
Yeah, they're a little bit scattered
Okay.
as far as where the pickup is, so.
Okay.
Cool.
Alrighty. Buildings report.
Not a lot, kind of been out of touch for a couple weeks here now. But I know they're moving forward with the painting of this building. The upstairs at the post office for the trim work has all been finalized and finished. I still wanna somehow get the floors up there done, the rest of the rugs will get pulled up. And hopefully for trash day, I'll talk to Thomas, maybe you guys can grab them if he bags it and throws it out. The rugs, if we can get more of those ripped up and pulled out from upstairs, getting ready to have the
Have them let me know
staircases.
Friday. We'll
Okay,
have them ready and.
perfect, I will do that, I'll talk to him, I'll send him a message later when I leave here. It'd be nice to get rid of the rest of the rugs up there. There is still a lot of stuff up there. I'm not sure what anybody wants to do with it. I just don't know. Maybe the Lions Club for their auction.
But what type of stuff are we talking about?
Desk, metal desks, other desks,
Marketplace.
tables. Not all the tables.
So
There are
there's
some nice
two-
tables that are coming over here.
Yes.
Those are coming over here. One's going upstairs, one's gonna go into the front office. But they're both about a little bit bigger than this. Those are some nice tables we're gonna use here, but there's a bunch of other stuff. There's some shelving units, there's
Lots of stuff.
chairs.
Some of it may be,
Some of it they could throw out, but if maybe the Lions Club was interested. I don't know if anybody else, the superintendent's office left all of that, so.
and it's semi-heavy stuff, so I don't think that you'd wanna, I mean, you could put it out maybe for free, but
Right.
it's getting somebody to lug it down the stairs.
What about Marketplace? Like take pictures and put it out, free for the taking, maybe on a Saturday.
We could put it on
Yeah,
our-
but we'd still have to. We would still want to be responsible for getting it out the door.
Yeah, you wouldn't
We-
want someone
No, for
coming in off the
liability.
street and.
Right, for
Yeah.
liability and stuff, so
I mean,
even if,
I'm fine with Lions Club if they want to come take a peek, and the town guys can do they stage at the fire station? So we could just if they did it on a Friday and they could bring it down there on a Thursday or Friday.
Friday,
We can see.
we'd have to,
We could check with the food shelf too, like donations to some of the local, the Notch. I mean, if they needed anything.
a lot of the stuff is, the Notch is donated to us for the chairs upstairs that we bought from them, so. it's
Lions
all-
Club would be good. That'd be a good,
So yeah, if you want to reach out to them and ask them if they want to tour it and if there's anything they're
Yeah.
interested
Do
in.
that. Is that, okay,
Or the church too.
the church too,
But give Lions first shot, then go from
Yep.
there. Okay.
cause they give back to the community, so whatever they sell, they usually give back to the community anyway. Dry glass and donations for food shelf and all this other stuff, so it'd be a good cause.
Okay.
But that's
The
about it.
library,
The library,
so we need the painting for the library.
that's right.
We need to approve, you said you talked to Alan.
I talked to Alan,
Yeah, Alan.
and the caulking is automatically included whenever he puts in a job quote
Okay.
for a paint job, because it's not gonna hold unless you caulk it. So, and as far as priming first and stuff like that, a lot of the paints today for outside paints already have the primer mixed right in with it. So he said that's usually the way he goes with it, so.
Okay.
And as far as the bacterial for mold growth and stuff like that behind paint, most of your paints already have a deterrent in it for outside paints, the newer stuff. So that way, and you don't usually paint when the wood's wet anyway. You wait till it dries and it's a dry day. So that way you don't get that anyway, so the wood's dry. So those were the questions I had asked him from our last meeting, 2 meetings ago.
Okay.
So do we wanna make a decision? I don't have, did you bring the quotes with you by chance?
I didn't, but I can go grab them, they're right on my desk,
Okay,
if you want me to.
Yeah.
that'd be great, and
Yeah, we
we
can
can
move
take
that
a second look at them. And Larry Bissette's been working over there for the library for what they had going on.
So-
And I've noticed he's replaced some of the boards that were bad around like the windows and stuff, so it's got fresh boards on it, so.
And
Which is
then
nice.
Alan's been doing the painting here.
He's the one doing the painting right now here.
And then when's Richie coming? Do you know?
Richie
Or,
said
right.
sometime in the middle of June is he's hoping
So-
for.
so
He had to
one-
order the
one-
supplies.
So Alan will be done and then he can
Yes.
move in. That'll work out nice.
So, the two quotes were from, one was from the Dustin Weatherby. The total job is, he bid it at 27,500, and Allen was 19,400. If you guys wanna look at the two again.
Are we using one of them right now? The one
Yes,
that- which one?
Alan's one
Alan?
doing the roof right here,
Oh.
or doing the painting on this
Oh.
building.
It does look, it definitely did brighten it up.
It does brighten it up, doesn't it? It's just amazing what paint does for a building.
I know I went out, he come in and he goes, oh, you're gonna wanna come out and look at it, so I went out one day last week, and when he was up there, he was saying that the last time it got painted, there was a lot of paint got paint all over the bricks, and he said he was taking pictures as he went,
Yep.
and he was trying to clean it off the best that he could from
Yep.
previous. And they were doing most of it with, brushes.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of detail to the woodwork on this
Yeah.
building. It's crazy.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
I think well, I don't know, they probably aren't gonna finish it this week, but they are working on the
On
other
that
side of the
there, yep.
building now, but
I saw the lift park
with the
over here.
weather.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any motions on which one to go with?
Make a motion to go with that one.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
I,
All right, motion passes.
do you wanna call and let them know?
I had one thing on
Thank you.
buildings.
Okay,
I noticed that the area behind the parking out here has not been mowed. Is that because the mowers are not aware that that's what usually they mow?
Yes, I need to let them know.
I'm like,
Thank you for reminding
I've
me.
never
but
told
yes,
them
I
before
need
they
to-
had to mow back there, but Donald and like you
Yes,
said.
they always
Yeah.
did, yes.
They always
I-
did.
I-
Judy did
yes,
a really good
That's what
job.
it was, these people
Yep.
just didn't
They
know.
did know, yes.
So, thank you.
I just need to let them know, yes.
Thank you.
and I was asked after the meeting by, the lawnmower, my thoughts on the weed whacking versus mowing, and I was like, it definitely looks better if it's mowed. I mean, you just can't get consistent. So,
Right.
it was asked, and they did ask our opinion of it, and I did share that, mowing is definitely a better look. And they were fine with that. Anything else?
Not on building.
Okay. Guess you're all set.
I'm all good.
Water and sewer?
Don't have anything
I
on.
don't have anything.
Okay. Anything on water and sewer?
No.
Okay. Parks and playgrounds?
Just that Marissa got a call from Carl Weatherby, and Carl was the one, in the past that, used to kind of oversee the fountain and stuff, and so he told us that in the past, people have used like a wire brush and, actually stated where to get the paint from, in St. Albans. And it actually gave us the color of the paint. So now we just need to find someone, because the gentleman who did it in the past is no longer with us, so we need to find somebody. So it sounds like it can be something that we do.
I actually, Tracy, from Town Crew wants to paint it in the worst way. He has mentioned on multiple occasions.
Okay,
So, if
And
you,
not to shoot him down, but I wonder if we should, I was talking to Kristen a little bit before the meeting. I wonder if we should contact maybe Enosburg too, cause they also have a fountain in their park, and maybe see if they have somebody.
okay, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Just to get it out there to see if someone professionally, locally, and then if not, then
Then we'll have to resort to.
revisit
Okay.
having
Yeah.
one of the highway guys do it.
And with that being said too, the other thing that Marissa had brought up is maybe one of the things, maybe the town, I don't know who, but that there used to be like a wood cover that went over that
Yeah.
fountain and it
Yeah, whatever happened to
broke.
that?
So I was telling her I was talking to Jason today, and he said that that's been broke for quite a few years.
Yeah, and so they've
And
been
they've been putting a
tarping
tarp
it.
over it, but I think we need to come up with a more permanent fix than the
Well,
So
tarp, because
if you
it's,
ask them to, I'm sure Jason and his crew
it's
can.
obviously not working, I
Yeah.
don't think, the way
Yeah.
that it should.
Right.
And we don't wanna let that get.
Okay, I'll add
Yeah.
cover for, anything else?
That's it.
Alrighty, do you have anything for parks? Alright, other business?
On water and sewer, I was thinking about it. I was heard somebody told me that they're redoing the sewer, they're gonna be redoing the sewer on South Street at some point.
South Street, not that I'm
No?
aware of.
Then I was talking to the guy and I was talking about having him put another storm drain in, because when the water comes off of Church Street, when it really heavy rains, it shoots right down South Street, across the road, and it's flooding out Albert Resel there, and apparently he's got a sinkhole in his yard where the drain that comes across my property goes across to his property, and there was some kind of a wooden culvert there or something that's all rotted away, and there's a big sinkhole in his yard. They keep filling it in, I guess, but it keeps coming back, so I don't know if they were gonna be looking into that, or.
Yeah, the storm drains would be separate from the sewer, but I guess maybe Jason would know something about that, maybe.
So where are we talking, South
South
Street?
Street, off of Providence.
Connects to Union, right?
Isn't there a storm drain? I can't remember, somewhere where Province intersects South Street.
There's one on my lawn on South Street, but there's no way the water to get through it because there's 2 feet of lawn between the grate and the road. And the road's tilted this way, so any water goes that way, it doesn't go anywhere near that storm drain. There is water that runs through there, I believe it's coming off of the hill someplace, because you can look down, you can see water in it. But, and then last year, of course, I brought up speed tables for Providence Street. I think you need them in a few more places than just Providence Street, because these kids are getting crazy. I mean, you're spinning donuts in the middle of the road in the middle of the night down there, and then you could just see the smoke rising, and, you know, it's crazy. I'm almost ready to go out there and start making citizens arrests. I probably couldn't get away with it.
So that's considered 105. That's a state highway, it's not 105,
Well,
sorry, it's
but
a
yeah.
state highway, so it's approval from the state that we need, I believe, because it's their
That's
technically,
139 technically.
the state highway. And they're tough to get a hold of. So it's worth reaching out again and seeing.
And then one other thing is I noticed, I heard that Enosburg is getting their own police force eventually. I said, I don't know, maybe Richford could partner with them and maybe get somebody in here to patrol once in a while from their police force. You know, for a few $1,000 or whatever it would cost, but, I mean, we're only 10 miles away, so. I don't
How
know,
much
they're
was
still
it they were
looking into
talking
I
about,
guess.
Enosburg saying that we would need to join in with them? 100 and,
They put what, $300,000 in their budget. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Saying that, and that's just that's their research and hiring a head of the police, correct?
I can't, I mean,
that's what the
there was a
paper
couple
said,
of us
but-
that attended, and when it came budget time, it was discussed, and the board, some board member, it was voted down not to contribute to it. It was, you know, it was obviously gonna be more expensive to start. There were some startup costs, which we would be, you know, we would have been expected to contribute. And then, you know, it probably would have been a little more expensive overall, but not as expensive as initially. But, the board overall decided it was not an avenue they wanted to pursue. So we have not pursued it any further beyond, Kristen and I attended sessions, right up through into November? And then, when we started crafting the budget, when we decided not to go for it, we haven't attended any of their meetings since.
Yeah, no, it's expensive, police forces, you know, getting police, nothing's cheap anymore.
Have we heard anything back definitive from Lamoille County?
Orleans, right?
Orleans, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we should have brought that up. We forgot to bring that up at the last meeting.
Yeah, because you guys had your meeting
Yeah.
before the last meeting.
Alan and I and Kylie met with them. They're receptive. What's the best way to recap that, Alan?
It was a really good discussion, and I think there may be some possibilities there. My own personal feeling with the meeting was that if there was a way that they could supplement what the state police are giving us, so that we would get the state police and them, maybe that's something we'd want to look at. My concern was I didn't want to spend the money for the sheriffs and then lose the state police coverage we're getting. I want both.
I don't blame you.
And so I think we left it that we were gonna kind of look into
Yeah.
whether or not we could get coverage from the Orleans sheriff in addition to the
Yeah.
state police.
And yeah, we wanted to touch base, like make sure we didn't lose it. And I mean, they weren't in a position to provide, you know, a guaranteed 40 hours a week. But they said they could do, you know, random shifts, I guess is kind of what,
Yeah.
like, you know, but they would be unlike Franklin County, it seemed like they were much more willing to make sure those random shifts occurred in timeframes that we wanted. So it was,
Time frame,
huh?
7 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
midnight
instead-
would be
yeah.
most-
Well, instead of being here from 7 to 3 on a Monday. Yeah, so there were some good conversations, so I think,
They were even talking about kind of splitting the duties if the state police would agree to it. The state police would be involved in dealing with the criminals, and they would deal
Like
with motor
speed.
vehicle issues. So,
basically, it's gonna have to be a three-party agreement,
yeah.
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 Because my understanding, from what I've heard, if we have a contract with some sort of sheriff, the state police, just,
All the way.
yeah, they will.
They cover when the sheriffs don't.
Well, I don't even know if they do that,
No,
No, they don't
because,
even do that.
yeah, well, that's the
Okay.
problem, like we said in our
They
town
cover towns
report.
that don't have any
Is
sheriffs.
in my experience.
we need to make sure we don't lose, like if the
If
state's
I
here
need to
30
move
hours
to
when we
town.
don't have police coverage, a
Call
contract,
for someone.
and then we sign a
and
police
they'll say,
contract and
well,
they
call
disappear,
the
we're really
sheriff
only
because you
netting
have a
10 hours.
contract.
Right, you lose.
Yeah,
Lose that one and get
So
on.
we're basically paying a contract for 180,000 for 10 hours, you know, of additional coverage, which doesn't seem beneficial.
what are we getting now, 30-ish?
Wow, we don't know really, but they're,
I see them here a lot.
A
and-
lot.
and
They're
the-
here a lot.
And I think the reality is they're more effective than,
I don't know, it's the prime example when that incident happened down at the playground on a Sunday night. It was 4, 5 o'clock that I saw the post. I contacted dispatch. Within 20 minutes, a state trooper called my cell phone, and I told him what was going on, and he had just gotten on shift and he was headed here from St. Albans, and he said he was gonna be patrolling his whole shift up here trying to locate the vehicles. So, I mean,
so I guess where do we go with that after that meeting?
I think if we're interested, as I recall, I thought we were waiting for something from them, and then if they were okay with some of the stuff we had talked about, we were gonna set
Well,
up a
yeah, they
meeting with the
definitely-
state police, them and us
Yeah,
to
she would-
decide what,
She was their head sheriff, I guess.
Would it be a deputy?
No,
No,
the lady that was here, she was the John Grismore of Orleans. She was very keen on not stepping on toes and wanted to make sure, so that was nice. So I think, yeah, they were gonna also talk to their staff to see if they, because they said, we're not gonna force our staff, but if they wanna do it, we'll provide it. So maybe we should touch base with them again at some point. Yeah, so I'll maybe you and I can talk and see what we wanna talk to them about and set up another meeting, or if you guys are fine with
Yeah,
continuing to pursue it.
Oh, definitely.
this is something to look at anyway, see if you
Of
can
course.
come up with something.
I was wondering too, maybe you could put one of those, electronic signs like on the street saying, this is your speed, when they go flying up the street, just so.
The only problem with that, and I'll speak because I've heard stories in Enosburg, that the kids actually see
How fast
how
they're
fast
going.
they can go, yeah. So it might be encouraging them.
No,
But if you coupled that with speed tables or speed bumps,
Then you see how fast you can get to the speed bump and stop and go over the bump. Yeah, I'm just telling you what I know and
Yeah.
what I've
For me,
heard,
it's for, yeah.
so.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
sure, that'll do it.
Okay. Any other business here?
Nope, not for us, we just have.
Okay. Mr. Weatherby, do you have anything?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Okay. All right, I guess if that's it, we'll go to executive for personnel.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor?